Hey everybody, we're back with the review of Firefly for our classic sci-fi show series. So we tackled the first one and it was okay. I think with the second half though, that the series did get stronger in my opinion in the second half. And we'll see what we thought about each episode. So we're gonna go all the way to episode 8 is where we left off, and this is Out of Gas. And I thought this was a really strong start for the second half because it's very much like a Star Trek
Mhm.
episode again, very much like every once in a while the Enterprise would break down and you know, Data or Picard would have to crawl around the Jeffrey tubes to figure out what the heck's going on with the Enterprise. So this was very much like that episode, Out of Gas. So yeah, the first half of the series we were learning a lot about the characters and stuff, and I think this is where we learn about the Firefly because we kind of get the backstory of the Firefly and how like everyone came aboard of it. And it starts with Mel passed out on the floor and like isn't he bleeding because he
Mhm.
got shot, right? So
Mhm.
and then we kind of get a flashback to why all of this is going on, and basically they were they were what was it? I don't even remember what the bad guys were. They were boarded. No, wasn't the
No,
air
this ship.
running out? They were
Yeah.
sabotaged or something like that, and their air
Mhm.
was running out. And he's like, "Okay, everyone leave because getting the escape pods, leave, and maybe someone will pick you up. It's doubtful, but maybe." And I'm the captain, so I got to stay with the ship because captain floats with the ship in space. So everyone gets off, and then he gets like someone picks up their distress call and he thinks, "Oh, they're here to help because I need this compressor or whatever it is." And they're like, "Yeah, we got one. We'll bring it over." But then they're like, "Ha, we're really bad guys." And so he gets rid of them pretty easily, I thought. It was like I don't remember what he did, but he's like, "Get off my ship." But yeah, this what do you think of this episode?
It was good. I like how it kind of like goes back and forth. Like it starts at the end and then like goes backwards and then goes
Mhm.
backwards to like the origins of like we see how like him and Inara like acquainted and then how he found Kaylee to work on the ship and
Yeah, so
stuff like that.
they had a old engineer we learned.
Hmm.
But he was like this dumb surfer guy. And yeah, so Kaylee like took over the job from him. And then we see Wash and um what's her name? Yes,
Zoe?
Zoe, they came aboard too. And Wash was like, "Yeah, we can fix this up and make it real good." So they were excited. What else about this episode did you like?
I don't know anything specifically, but it was a really like well written episode.
Yeah, I thought so too. So check that one out. That was definitely one of the highlights I think of the series. So next, we get an episode called Ariel. Sorry, my I don't know if you guys can see that. So Ariel. So I forgot to mention in the first part of the series we were talking about, Mal's kind of a jerk, but I'm like, I mean, I think that's how he's supposed to be. I don't think it's like hurts the series or anything like that. I think that's just
Mhm.
how he's supposed to be. But yeah, so he could be like a jerk. um, and I forget what they're talking about, but he's like talking to Simon, and he's kind of like they're kind of questioning like why they're there, and they need money, right? Because they're kind of like run out of money. So Simon's like, "Okay, I've got an idea how to get money." And they're like, "Really, you? You're a doctor?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he tells them about this planet that has like all this medical equipment, and that they can steal all the medicine and sell it for good prices and stuff for people who need it. So they kind of so it's like a heist episode, and they sneak into this planet. They get a little ship that they paint into like an official ship. I was kind of expecting that ship to come back, like be a part of the series now, but
Mhm.
it really wasn't. And so they kind of spread. They get into groups, and they we learned that Jane has made a deal with the feds, as they call them, to give up Simon and River, and he's expecting like a big payday because he doesn't really see the point of them. So he goes on their team and he sells them out. Oh, Simon wants to go there because River's getting worse, right? That's the one where
Mhm.
she tried to stab Jane, I think,
Mhm.
or she did stab him. So that's why they were kind of like, should we keep her on board? So Simon's like, okay, if we go steal this, I can figure out what's wrong with River, get her some better medicine. So that's why they're there. But Jane, betrays them, and we meet these agent guys. They're like the Men in Black if they were evil or something. And they have like these high tech powers and can just like kill people real fast. And Mal's team, like they finish the getting the drugs and stuff pretty easily, and they get back there. But they're like, "Wait, where's the other guys?" So that means these guys have to escape. Jane kind of has a turn of heart, but basically because they weren't going to pay him. So he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, shoot!" But even before then, he was kind of like, "Should I really do this?" And he eventually helps them escape. They don't really talk about Jane's betrayal much on this episode. It does come back, but they kind of just like wink at him, like, because they kind of know he betrayed them, but they kind of let it go.
Well, there's that ending with Mal.
Oh yeah, that's true. I did forget about that part. So Mel confronts him because he figured it out too, and he puts him like in the airlock, and he's about to launch him into space. And Shane's like, "Tell them I tripped or something." He's like, "Don't tell him I betrayed him."
I love you.
Yeah, but Mal doesn't do it. He's just like, "You better get on board, and I'm the leader." What'd you think of this episode?
That's good. I like learning like about Rivers, more of her backstory, and I think the highlight is that ending scene with Mal is probably the best part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, it starts off strong, and then we get to the next
Some of
episode.
it,
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know, some of it was a little weaker because like you can't really get rid of one of the main characters, so Jane's gonna go back somehow. So,
Hmm. Yeah, true. You kind of knew he wasn't leaving, but
hmm,
it was still good. I think they
yeah,
still played it up pretty well. So, episode 10 is War Stories. This is not as strong as the last two, I would say. So,
really,
you like this one?
yeah,
Okay. So they're doing a train job, right? So, and they're planning it. I don't even remember this one that well. Walsh gets jealous. He gets jealous of Mal and Zoe's relationship, how they're always telling, war stories. And then they're always the ones that kind of lead the missions. So so he's like, I want to lead a mission. And he's like, stop hitting on my wife and stop putting her in danger. So Mal's like, all right, you want to go on the away mission? You can. This is like if they put Jordy in charge of the mission or
hmm.
something like that. So they go, and the bad guy from an earlier episode reappears. I forget what his name.
That was like the
Niska.
second episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really early on. Niska,
Hmm.
and he's still mad because they didn't do that job for him the last time. So he's mad and he wants revenge. So he captures Mel and Walsh or Wash, and the rest of the crew have to go save him. And the whole time they're getting like tortured and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny their interaction. Uh, they're always pretty funny together. And then
Hmm.
is this the one where River like
Yeah.
saves Kaylee?
Hmm.
So that's important. It comes back later. So she like there's a they're pinned down and there's a bunch of guys and she takes them all out and Kaylee's like whoa. And what so you thought this one was pretty good too. So why'd you think that?
Because I like how they show like things from the past episodes have consequences later, and so you have that guy like coming back, and then the ending with River like affects a later episode. So
Hmm.
I like how it ties into the whole series, and
That's
then
true. It does.
the two actors for Mal and Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion really get to shine in this one, just because there's a large portion of the middle it's just them two like arguing.
Hmm. Yeah, we don't get that a lot in this series. So the next episode. So Saffron returns, episode 11, trash. So they still need money. And they're downing this California planet like they do, and they just like didn't they just finish a job or something like that? And they're having a
He's like
party.
meeting with one of his old friends.
Okay, so they're having a party and he meets with his old friend. He's like, "Yay!" And he's like, "Hey, here's my new wife." And he's like, "No, that's not your wife. That's my wife." So it's pretty funny. So the guy's like, "Oh, you could take her because she's really bad." So, so Mel, he didn't tell them, right? He didn't tell the
Not at
crew.
first.
Yeah, that he like sneaks her on board in a crate or something like that. Because I
Hmm.
guess he was gonna take her back to wherever she is. Um, but then they start like making fun of Mel. I can't remember. So he's like, "I got an idea." So Saffron or whatever she called. Do they still call her that? She has like different names every episode,
Yeah.
but she's like, "I have an idea. There's a very valuable like sci-fi laser gun."
It's
Like
the first laser.
it's the first laser gun, so it's like
Hmm.
it looks like it's from a sci-fi convention or something. She's like, if we can go steal that, it'll be worth a lot of money. So the crew's like, we don't really trust her, but okay, we'll do this. So, um, I think Anara, she also has like a job there.
Well, she says she does.
Yeah, so she can get them into. So she's part of the plan. So they kind of do the plan, but then they find out that it's really Saffron stealing from like another husband, like her
Hmm.
original husband, um, who like still loves her. He's like, "Oh, you came back," and then she betrays him too, and then so they got to get out of that. Is there anything else like really important? It's just kind of a funny episode,
Yeah.
and it was good to see someone return. Did you like this one?
Yeah. Mostly like the last episode, like seeing that they like kind of learned from their last experience to just not trust her at all and kind of come up with this plan for her.
Hmm. Yeah, they end up like leaving her in a crate again.
Hmm.
Just like leaving her on the planet.
Hmm.
And this is the one where they had like the little shuttles and they're like
Hmm.
trash shuttles and they hack it so it goes to where they want to go. And
Hmm.
they gotta get like the cargo out of it while they're flying
Yeah.
on top of it. And they send like Kaylee and River to do it or something. It's like, why are you
Isn't it like
sending
Jane?
is it Jane? I was like, why are you sending
Jane like
all
falls off or something?
yeah. Doesn't he like hit his head or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then that was a funny part. All right, episode 12, The Message. So I thought this was another pretty strong one. Like you said, this is a flashback to a lot of flashbacks back to the war that they were in, and it turns out they have cargo. They get they get cargo from the mail. They're like,
Hmm.
this guy's got like mail from them on this planet. So they go pick up their mail, and it turns out to be a guy in a box, and they're like, oh, this guy's dead. Turns out it was like one of their old uh, comrades that was in the art. He was like a younger member, and he was in the war with them, and they like saved his life, and so they were like all friends. So they take him back to the ship because they're not allowed dead guys. You're not allowed to mail dead guys, which is probably true of real mail. um,
If you can somehow do it.
yeah. So they take him back to the ship, but it turns out he's not dead. He's just like he's a like an organ carrier. So they like some rich guys that put like organs in him, and they're like that's how they
Hmm.
transport the organs. So they're like, that's kind of gross. And he's like, yeah. Uh, but then the feds are looking for him. And I was watching this. I was like, who is that guy that's playing this? Like, he's like a rogue fed, we learned.
Hmm.
And I was like, who is that guy? And it turns out he's like on Seinfeld. And
Hmm.
he was on this episode where Elaine, they all think this baby's ugly, but then
Oh yeah.
he says it's breathtaking, which is like the same thing. He calls Elaine, and she gets all disturbed by it. So that's that guy. And then the so this guy, I forget what was his name,
I don't remember.
Tracy.
Mm.
So Tracy, he actually betrays them, right?
Hmm.
And he wants to like, what does he want? He's gonna take off with Kaylee or something. He likes Kaylee.
Yeah, and
Um,
he was just gonna escape.
yeah, he was gonna escape. And I think the doctor, he always like offends Kaylee by calling her like garbage or something. She's, I think
Hmm.
that happened again. So she like kind of warms up to him. And then, so they're dealing with him, but then the feds come and they find out the Fed, because Book, he's got a pass and we never learn it. And it's kind of
I
annoying
know.
because we never get anything from it. But he figures out that this guy is not working in the law, in that he's actually breaking the law. Um, but there's something. Oh no, he's valuable, right? So that guy, if they take him back, they'll get money.
Hmm.
So they board the ship and they attack the ship, and in the end, Tracy actually gets shot, and he kind of. It was a surprise. I didn't expect him to die, but he was like, you guys taught me a lot of stuff back then, but I never kind of learned. I could just, he was kind of like someone from war that could just never figure out how to make a living after the war.
Hmm.
So he's kind of like a forgotten veteran, I guess is what they were kind of going for in this episode. So it was a pretty good drama episode.
Hmm.
Kind of the stronger writing, and we get to learn more about Mal and stuff in the war. So, any thoughts on this one?
No, this is a really good one. I liked his kind of character, and I love the way how that kind of all wraps up and like ties back to like his message at the beginning.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So, like we said, the second half of this season was really strong. We got two more. So, episode 13, Heart of Gold. So, this is actually one of the weaker ones, I thought.
Yeah.
You did too. So, Anara and Mel have this on in this will they, won't they relationship the whole time, and it kind of comes to a head on this one. So, Anara gets a message from one of like a companion she knew back in the day when they were like in companion school. And it turns out that she flunked out a companion. No, she didn't want to do companion because they have to play violins or something like that, and she didn't like it. So she left and she found this place in California. It's like empty town, and she took over it, and she kind of started running her own house for the ladies. And there's this guy, he's like the warlord or whatever of this town, and he got one of the girls pregnant, so he wants his baby. He doesn't, well, they don't know if it's his. They do a DNA test. So he drives up in this little car, this little hover car, with his men that are just like on cars and stuff like that. But he's got this little hover one, uh, and he gets the DNA, and he's like, if this is mine, I'm coming back." Was it his? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, because they come back. So Mal and the crew go down, and they take the job. If Mal wants to meet the guy first, so they go into town and they meet him. And Mal's like, we can't do this. He's got like big guns and stuff like that. And he's like, even if we do help you, they'll just come back with like more guns and stuff. So there's not really a point. So why don't we all just leave? And but the main girl's like, no, I built this house from poop. It was literal poop. And I built it up to a business, so I'm not going to leave. So we're just going to fight. So we get kind of this very Western shootout thing
Hmm.
where it's like this gang all attacking this house and everyone's shooting from the windows and stuff like that. It's very Western. Probably why I didn't like this one that much.
Yeah.
um, and they end up saving the day, of course. So, and then in the background, Mal kind of hooks up with the lady, and Inari that they sees it, and she like breaks down, starts crying, and then at the end she tells Mal that she wants off the ship and she's gonna leave. Um, so
And the other
yeah,
one kind of dies at the end.
who?
The other lady that Mel was with.
Oh yeah, she did die. Yeah, I forgot about that. And then the girls, the girl that was pregnant like takes over. And it's like, get off
Hmm.
our land. No, she
And the
shoots
bit.
the guy, the
Yeah.
leader, and then she tells the other guys, just get out of here.
The baby's name was Jonah.
The baby's name was Jonah. So yeah, it was a weaker one just because it played in, I thought, too much into the Western trope that they like for this series. But do you have any other thoughts on this one?
No, it's very Western. It's like the Seven Samurai kind of episode,
Yeah,
and it's just what you've seen from like those kind of episodes from shows.
yeah, it didn't really stand out from those either. It wasn't like a good Western.
Hmm.
All right, so episode 14, Objects in Space. This one was fun. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed this one. So we get so River is having problems. She's walking around the ship and she's watching people have conversations, but then she like imagining them that they're like say get off or we don't like you and stuff like that, and you're a terrible person and stuff like that. So she's kind of going crazy. She's like seeing things, and then she like picks up a gun,
Hmm.
and everyone runs out of the ship or into the cargo hold, and they're like, "Put down the gun! Guns are bad for kids." So again, we have the little scene where they question whether River should be there, and they're like, "Yeah, maybe we should drop her off." And Inara is planning to leave, but she hasn't told anyone yet that she's gonna leave. Um, and meanwhile, we see the ship inner space, and we see this guy in the ship. He's like operating stuff, and he's like listening to them. He eventually like jumps out of his ship and lands on their ship, so he can like listen into them. And this guy's like a bounty hunter, so he gets into the ship, and he's like nuts. He's like
Hmm.
psycho, because he captures Kaylee, and then he has like this really weird discussion. He's like freaking her out, ties her up, and then he locks all the crew quarters, so everyone's like locked in. So like Jane doesn't even know what's going on this whole episode. I guess the first guy he took out was actually Mel, which was kind
Mm-hmm.
of kind of it make it look made Mel look kind of wimpy, but he took him out really fast. And then so he eventually gets to Simon, and because he knows, he knows they're the targets, and he's like, "Where's your sister?" And he's like, "I don't know." So he takes him around the ship, and the whole time he's just saying these like weird stuff, like when he's talking to Simon says something. He's like, "You call me a lion? You think I'm a lion?" It's just a really funny way of talking and stuff like that. So eventually, River, he's about to like shoot Simon, so he's like, because he wants River to come out, and she eventually talks over the ship speaker, and they're like, What are you doing?" And she's like, "I am the ship now." He's like, "What?" um, so she like talks to all the crew member. Well, not all of them. She talks to like Kaylee and Mal and uh, tells them that she has a plan. Inaro is there. I don't. He like punched her or something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Told her not to get in the way. So we find out that Rivers actually somehow got onto his ship. Um, she must have like sensed he was there, so she like got in her space suit and somehow got up to his ship.
because his was
And
like attached to theirs.
yeah, and she I guess she's reading his bio or something like that. Or she finds out that he has a real, you know, he finds out that he has a mom, and I don't know if she's doing this with her mind powers or something, but she knows like all this information about his mom and like how he left and stuff like that. So it kind of really shakes him, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go back to the ship." So eventually he goes back up there, and he figures out that she's in the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, "I'm gonna go with you because everyone hates me, so you could take me." And they're like, "No." Simon's like, "No," and he like tries to fight the guy, but Simon's not a really good fighter, so he gets his butt kicked a lot. And Simon gets shot, and the way that it plays in the episode, you think he got like really shot, but it's just like his leg. And in like the commercial, when we got back from the commercial, it was just his
Mm-hmm.
leg. Um, so they go out there, and he's about to leave, but then Mel shows up in his spacesuit because this place, he doesn't even have to hit him or anything. He just kind of like
I know.
shoves him off. He just pushes him off the ship, and he like goes floating. So he goes and gets River, and and everything is okay now. They're like, "You can stay. You're weird, but we like you." So it wasn't like a very like it didn't move the overall plot that much, but it was just a fun episode, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So we do get more of the River mystery, but not a ton. They do bring up that she might be a telepath, I think they said.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, they hint that Book is not what he
I
says,
know.
because he called when this guy's on the ship, him and Simon look at Book because he's like passed out. And Simon's all, "We have our own shepherd." And he's like, "That's not a shepherd." Leaving our imaginations again to figure out what the heck Book is. Uh, but any other thoughts on this one?
No, I think the actor playing the bounty hunter like really made it.
Yeah,
He had a fun performance.
yeah, it was a fun episode. You know what we forgot to talk about? We forgot to talk
Mm.
about Jane's hat.
His hat.
Yeah, remember? Was that on the last season? Remember?
Oh yeah, when they're getting the mail.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's at the mail place. So yeah, when
Mm-hmm.
he gets a package from his mom,
Mm-hmm.
it's a like this woolly hat, and he like puts
Mm-hmm.
it. I thought it was gonna be like he'd wear it all the time because I kind of remember it from when Firefly was on, for some reason I always remember him in that hat. So I was like, oh, there's that hat. So I thought he'd wear it more, but he only really wears it for that episode. So okay, so like we said, second season of Firefly, or second half of the first season, I should say,
Mm.
uh, pretty strong episodes throughout. There was only one that I didn't really care for. Um, I guess you could say two are kind of jokey episodes, don't really move the plot too much, but still pretty good for one-off episodes. So, do you have any thoughts on the second season
No,
or
it's really
second
good.
half? Sorry,
Yeah.
real good. So
Yeah,
overall, fine. Okay, go ahead.
I think it is probably the better half, but there are
Okay.
episodes from the first half that I do really remember as well.
Yeah. Could you even say what your favorite episode is? Probably. It's
Mm,
kind of hard to judge.
yeah. I know the first and the last one,
This out of gas one, I think, was really good. The
and
first
then
episode.
yeah, that
Yeah.
one we talked about where they like that one where they investigate like that ship that everyone like died on and then they get boarded by the
Yeah, that
lions.
yeah, that's definitely in the top three, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell all my favorite ones are when they're in space.
Yeah.
So overall for the series, it feels very much like a first season of a series, right? So they're trying to figure out their way, trying to figure out what the show is. For me, it's kind of like balancing the more Western stuff with the more sci-fi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Those
do
usually are my favorite like seasons of shows is the first one.
really.
Yeah.
I think nowadays you could definitely say that the way shows work now.
I think back then especially too, because
So like first season of Star Trek is definitely the strongest. And then but Next
not
Generation,
Next
yeah,
Generation.
not Next Generation. Twilight Zone's first season is probably the best. Because that is, I think it's the second season when they go to the hour-long ones. I mean, there's some good
No, that was like season 5.
Oh, it was that much? Maybe season
Yeah. I
four-ish.
think like 2 and 3 were my favorites.
And then yeah, so for this series, you could tell it's I think you could tell it's a season one. There was a lot of promise. I can see why people like it, and
Yeah.
wanted a second season, because there's a lot of promise that they set up that we don't really get to see. We haven't seen the movie yet. We will watch the movie next,
Mm,
so we'll kind of tell us our thoughts on what they did with those, if they address them, and what they did with all the kind of hanging plot threads that they introduced. So overall, it's not my favorite. I wouldn't say it's like better than Star Trek, um, like the original Star Trek and Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. It's not better than any of those. Um, but I, but that it doesn't have an ending too, so it's kind of hard
mm,
to judge it just on one season. And it's a very short season too.
yeah.
It wasn't a very long season, so I could see had its promise, and I can see why people liked the show and wanted it to return. Any last thoughts on Firefly?
No, I think for me, because I wasn't like a big fan of shows around that time, this is definitely one of the better highlights.
Hmm.
I think it's like this and Lost are probably the best of like TV from like the 2000s.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
I
Lost
ca-
Fringe.
yeah. Um, I can see why like people were upset that it didn't go farther. Kind of like the worries of shows back then, though, were that they did get worse as they go on. So I'm glad it didn't like get to like too much. Like it didn't get to that point. So it still is overall a good like impression of it.
Yeah, yeah, not too much sci-fi. I think went too long, other than Star
Hmm.
Trek. So you do get
Yeah.
shorter shows or season, shorter show lengths in sci-fi than in
Hmm.
other shows. So that was good. That was a fun watch through. So we're gonna continue with sci-fi classics. So if you guys have any sci-fi shows that you think we should watch, let us know. And so we're gonna be on the lookout for our next show. Not sure what that is. Like I said, we are gonna watch Serenity, so
Hmm.
we will tell it, let you know our thoughts on that. So yeah, if you like this, give us a like. Um, comment. Like we said, tell us what you think we should watch next. Subscribe to the channel and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time.